Hi, this is Karen Money Williams with another exciting episode of Poupée Theater. Poupée is that English word puppets pronounced with a French flair, and I think there's something to be said for that, don't you? Well, without further ado, Ellie Alligator's in the studio this evening, and she has a question to ask about, well, let's just say Allie has a morbid curiosity, and let's bring her right on. Hello, Allie. How are you?
Oh, I am just fine. How are you, everybody?
Oh, I think everybody's just fine, and I'm glad you're fine. Okay, you had a question to ask about something that happened today, and so let's get right down to brass tacks. Go ahead and ask it.
Well, I was just wondering about death.
About death? Like as in death and taxes?
Yes, but I don't pay taxes, so I was just wondering more about death.
Okay, well, okay, tell me the very nature of your question. Go ahead.
Well, today I was out by the retention pond and I saw a little dead birdie.
A dead birdie, oh yeah.
And he just looked so well dead. And I just got to wondering, sort of philosophically and all, like what happens to a little birdie who dies, and what will happen to me when I die?
Well, I think I can answer that. First of all, let me tell you that you won't have to go to heaven and live with all the crocodiles, because I know you don't like the crocodiles, right? You just have no use for them.
I don't have any use for them whatsoever and at all, because they always are trying to mimic us alligators, and it gets really, really old.
Oh, I bet it does, and I bet they stay up late at night trying to devise means of imitating you gators. Well, so, okay, you want to know about what happens when we die. Well, from Abraham-Hicks philosophy, which I've studied for a few years, if I do say so myself, I would like to tell you what I know. When we die, or you could call it croaking, because that's what Abraham-Hicks calls it, to sort of take the sting off of it, because they say there really is no death. And the reason there really is no death is that we are eternal beings. Even though you and I are in flesh and blood and big teeth and scaly back form, I probably have the same thing myself, we are actually more eternal beings than we are physical. And so let me add this. Every day when we would take, say, a nap or sleep at night, and I've seen you napping down by the retention pond, so don't say you don't nap.
Oh, I do nap. It's a girl's best friend, outside of jewelry.
Okay. When we sleep, we go over into non-physical. We fully reemerge into non-physical. We're fully our non-physical selves while our body sleeps. And then after we wake up, part of our awareness comes back into our physical body. But the thing to know is that part of our awareness is here when we're in physical expression, but part of it is always over in non-physical. And so when we make our transition, die, croak, all of us just goes back into non-physical.
Well, I never heard it explained like that. Of course, I've never really heard it explained at all.
Okay. Well, I never had heard it explained like this until a few years ago, but the more I ponder it, the more, it just seems to make a lot of sense. So Abraham-Hicks says it's sort of like we go, when we croak, it'll be like going from one room to the next. You go from the living room to the dining room, and you go through a door, and it really won't feel much stranger than that. And when we're in the dining room, it's not like we're looking back and saying, oh, I wish I were in the living room. No, we're in the dining room. We've got a reason to be in the dining room, and that's just how it is. It will feel very natural, and it will when we wake up, we won't wake up dead or croaked after having croaked. We won't wonder who we are or where we are, anything like that. It'll all feel very familiar, and it's just nothing to fear. In fact, Abraham says that As long as we really fear death, we'll never fully live. It's a natural process. It's going to happen to all of us eventually. But then we don't stay over in non-physical.
We don't stay there like her there and play harps and float around on clouds?
No, not exactly. Although that's a pretty nice image. What we do is, it's kind of like when you would go like to an amusement park, like in your case maybe when you went to Gatorland here in the Orlando area, and you go on the funnest ride there, and then when it's over, what do you want to do? You just want to go again. You just love it. You just want to go back for the sheer thrill and adventure of it. And so that's what Abraham says is when we go to non-physical, and we'll feel really, really, really wonderful there. We will feel more wonderful than you and I could probably quite imagine right now, feeling in physical form. However, despite all of that, we will still want to come back into physical expression again and again and again and again. Not to learn lessons, not to become better, although that's probably an inevitable part of the process, but we really want to come for the sheer adventure of it. We want to come for the joy.
Well, that just sure puts a whole new spin on things. So I guess I don't really feel quite as sorry for that bird. He's over there getting ready to come back again.
Maybe. Maybe next time he'll come back as a crocodile. I mean, I'm sorry, an alligator. Maybe a boy alligator. But at any rate, Allie, no, there's nothing to fear about it. And just to know you're eternal, we're all eternal beings. And eternity, that's a long, long time, my dear one. So, there's another aspect I just want to briefly mention before our time is up, and that is, time I mean as in this little video. We come, you came here, and when you lie out by that retention pond and warm your belly in the sun and yawn and catch a few bugs in that big mouth and snout of yours, you know what? Source energy is living that through you, and source energy is having experiences that through you that it never quite ever had before. So as a result of what alligator is living, source energy is more than it ever was before you came forth from a little alligator egg.
You know, I really, really like that explanation. Well, I think I'll mosey on back to the pond. It's kind of time for a nap, if you know what I mean.
I do know very much what you mean. I'm a very big proponent of naps. Bye, Allie. And come back again with another burning question. Toodaloo.
Hi, everybody.
I hope that answered some questions, or maybe if it didn't, maybe it will get a few people to thinking, or maybe none of the above. It really doesn't matter. The main thing to know is that all is well, that this is a benevolent universe, and things are really meant to go very, very well for us as physical beings. Until next time, this is Karen Money Williams with Coupe Theater. Toodaloo.